Friday Night Live chat. Let's go. Are you kidding me? Everybody, wish yourself a happy Friday. We made it throughout the rest of the week. We had a crazy week on the channel. We're dealing with all kinds of rumors surrounding the LSU football team. I thought I did a video earlier this week that helped calm down those rumors. Instead, it actually revved it on up. A lot of you are worried about Elias Ricks. Let me start by saying, take a deep breath, which is the point of the video, is to not get stressed out over any one LSU player, okay? And we're going to get to that in just a moment as we welcome in all these great people that have watched me for months. I just want to say thank you guys. We just hit 3,000 subscribers. I just sent out a bunch of sports cards to our winners. As you guys know, to reward you, we give out LSU rookie cards. Some are autographed. Some are very vintage. For my diehard LSU fans, you're going to like this. I sent Max, one of our diehard viewers, something really cool. Some Danielle Hunter rookie cards. Who remembers Danielle Hunter? And he is still killing it in the NFL. So we've got a lot to get to today. And obviously the first thing is the defensive coordinator search as we welcome in SPH. We welcome in Eric, the Ghastly Gamer repping Arkansas, LSU fan, CZ Biscuit, shouting out the biscuits. Let's go. Andres, thank you so much for the happy birthday. Esteban, I appreciate you as well. But as SPH says, even from a Bama perspective, we do not want our great players to go to Ohio State, okay? Because that's what everyone is worried about. If Elias Ricks is going to Ohio State, or what is he going to do? I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about that or talk about the defensive coordinator? Let me first say this about Elias Ricks. What makes him so unique, and this is why I love, yeah, that's right, Danielle Hunter from Katy, Texas. They just won another state championship as well. What's up, Lawrence from Hattiesburg? Welcome. Glenn Schuman is in contact with LSU. So we'll start with that, and then we'll get back to Elias Ricks. Mikey with our first super chat. Mikey, let's go on ahead and go to whatever you want to talk about. As you guys know with these live streams, if you donate money to the channel via live stream, or if you send me what you want to talk about, obviously keep it LSU football related or college football related. Mikey, whatever you want to talk about, let me know. Isaac on a different account from Hokey, welcome. Happy birthday to Antonio. No, Antonio, thank you for the happy birthday wish. So I do want to be honest here. My birthday actually is tomorrow, okay? The reason why we didn't do our normal live stream on a Saturday, as many of you know, my girlfriend Haley and had planned a huge birthday party with our families. And, you know, it's going to be socially distanced. I want everyone to know that. But we're doing it safely and securely, and I don't want to let Haley and Boog down. So I hope you guys can understand that. Plus, the Friday is more convenient. We have a lot to get to. So a happy almost birthday, but this is our actual birthday live stream. I know, Esteban. I know. I wanted to come clean, okay? I wanted to come clean. Just shoot me now. How about it? Hey, and guess what? You could pick with me all you want. All right. Ghastly Gamer said he was going to give me $10. And then I said that, and Ghastly said, hold on. I can't trust someone that's going to lie about their birthday a day early. Okay? Because I didn't want to say the birthday eve live stream. Ulysses, thank you so much, man. Obviously, Ulysses is one of our really early viewers. And I appreciate all your comments. And I do, well, we do. Me and Haley need to get up and hang out with you in Denver. God, I love Denver. Denver's such a great city. A lot of weird LSU Tigers have played with the Denver Broncos, right? Trendon Holiday is just like the one that comes off the top of my mind. How many LSU Tigers? You know what's weird? One of the Denver communication staffers was one of my really good friends at LSU. His name is Seth Medvin, and now he's the head of PR for the Denver Broncos. But as Debbie said, for my birthday, the best thing you can do, outside of course, super chatting or Venmoing and all that, the best thing you can do is just share the content, like it. Once again, watch it all the way through. What happens to a lot of videos and channels when it's the off season, they can't carry a channel. They can't be interesting enough. I've seen it happen a ton. So I hope my content still compels you to keep watching throughout this offseason. But here's the great thing about LSU football. As great as we've been, we are always in constant turmoil. Blanco, thank you for another birthday super chat. I really do appreciate that. But that's the funny thing, is that LSU football writes its own narrative with a new story every single day. So that's what makes it really fun. Planet Low, thank you, man. My Instagram buddy. Everyone say hi to Cliff. He is my family. It's ironic because one day I want to do a comedy tour where I can meet all you guys and all of that. Cliff is the only one I've gotten to personally meet. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you for allowing me to come to your living rooms via YouTube. That would be kind of weird if it was like actually, but still, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. I do not like Ghastly. I wasn't calling you out for that, but I was just making a joke. But thank you for the extra $5. I appreciate it. So let's once again, if you're someone that is super chatted, I want to be fair. 75 Blanco, Ghastly Gamer, or Mikey, we will talk about what you want to talk about because it is your super chat time. But until they say what they want us to talk about, let's start with the Elias Ricks rumors, okay? And this is interesting. And Lawrence, I'm going to get to what that comment in just a moment because so many of you are so interested in what I eat because I make the comments. I do have a bone to pick, and a lot of you watch my good buddy T-Bob Abear. I have a huge bone to pick with him, and I'm afraid this is going to start like some media beef, okay? So you guys remind me a little bit later, and I'm going to start a beef with T-Bob because he said something that drove me wild this morning, okay? So if you got and Cliff, remind me of this later, okay? Because I'm going to start a beef with T-Bob tonight. And as you guys know, T-Bob's a friend of mine. It's not just somebody random doing that. So Mikey, it is your super chat. He wants to talk about the Rick subject. So I you know what's funny? I did the video earlier this week, and Ulysses commented the only factual mistake I made in the video was that I did not include that Rick's immediate family moved to Baton Rouge. That is a very key fact to the story. And as a lot of you know, I did a follow-up video apologizing for not including that because that is a very key part to this rumor. But I cannot say this enough, okay? I saw, and I went back, I reread the Rivals report about Elias Ricks, and then a lot of you sent me RJ Young's video about the subject, and then I'm telling you, I've never been bombarded with more messages than the Elias Ricks thing. And what I like to do is say something, and I want to be clear about this. I decide what content I put out. However, I go also by what you guys actually ask me to talk about. And I've never been bombarded with anything since I've started this channel than with the Elias Ricks rumors. So I thought in the video, I did a good enough job saying that this was clearly a rumor, okay? And then I went back, read the Rivals report, went back, watched a piece of the RJ Young stuff and noticed they didn't really say anything definitive. They said he could transfer. But here's the thing, people, and I want you to always remember this. And as you guys know, I have a huge respect for RJ Young. This is a hard business, but specificity is so important. And this is something that you could take away. Whenever you hear an analyst say he could do this or she could do this, well, that's stating the obvious, right? Because Elias Ricks could transfer. That's a fact. But none of the reports had anything solid on it. And that was something I did not say clearly enough, right? Welcome, Yusha. Thank you. Yusha's already sent me my birthday present. You guys saw it last week on the live stream. So that is so key. It is so key. Whenever an analyst says, well, so-and-so could beat so-and-so, or so-and-so could move, or so-and-so could transfer, guess what? Anything can happen. Anything can happen. So specificity matters, all right? Now, I did do some digging on it. And is there a possibility that Elias Ricks could go somewhere else? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And the point I was making in the video is that he is a lot different than any other player I've ever seen. And I really do mean this. Elias Ricks is mentally different than a lot of players who play football now. He is on a different level. He reminds me a lot of Patrick Peterson. And you guys know I talk a lot about Patrick Peterson. Now, look, I don't know Elias Ricks personally. Like, I knew Patrick Peterson when we were both at LSU. But there are some guys you watch and you can tell has a different mentality. Yusha, Yusha, I'm sorry. So, once again, Yusha, I appreciate the super chat. I know Yusha hates it when I thank him for any nice thing he does to me. He hates it. So, Yusha, I want to say thank you for your support of the channel. I am happy to be a Lazio supporter. I'm happy to be an old friend of Giorgio Canaglia, who used to play on the New York Cosmos with Pele. Rest in peace, Giorgio. So, yes, thank you, Yusha. I appreciate that. But, and once again, I know you don't like it, Yusha, but I have to say it. I'm sorry. My mom was always so overly appreciative, and Cliff knows my mother. That's just in my genetics. My dad's like that as well. Trey, thank you for your super chat as well. So Trey and Yusha, it is your super chat time. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about. But really quickly on the Elias Ricks thing. And I know, Debbie, you want to see Booger, and Trey, I know you want to see Booger as well. We will get to Booger in just a second. Tasha, thank you. Happy birthday. Everyone, welcome Tasha to the channel. Thank you for coming by and hanging out with us this evening. Tasha, we hope you subscribe. We hope you come by our live streams Tuesdays at 7. TPVN, thank you so much. Yeah, and Yusha, I've learned so much meeting. I've never had a Ukrainian friend, never. And I had such a diverse group of friends. My best friend to this day is from Yemen. And then I have friends from South Korea that I made at LSU. I have never met someone from Ukraine until I met Yusha. Well, we haven't met. That'll happen soon. But Yusha, he does not like it when you say thank you. So do not thank Yusha. Okay. Well, thank you. The Real LSU Nation. That's a huge Facebook group. But here's the thing. And I wanted to be clear with Elias Ricks. Part of what makes it so special is it is so hard for high school kids. And I know a lot of people do, well, back in our old day, we were so much tougher. I don't like to say that, right? Trey, we will get to that in just a moment. Glenn Schuman has been contacted by LSU, and you guys know how excited that makes me. The Atlanta Journal-Constitutional has reported that Glenn Schuman has been reached out. So, what makes Elias Ricks so special, and why I love this kid so freaking much, is that he, despite being a 5-star recruit, it is so hard as a 5-star recruit to go through adversity. Okay. And we use that word too often, right? We do. But Elias Ricks really did, because he played high school football at Mater Dei High School in California, which is the high school. You play some of the best freaking players in the country at Mater Dei. Then, he didn't have to do this. Elias Ricks decided to then go across the country and play high school football at IMG Academy in Florida, where he dealt with injuries and still played really well. And then he gets to LSU's campus, has the surgery, and from day one, the very first play, he gets burnt. He undercuts a drag route versus Mississippi State. But then against Vanderbilt, they tried to do the same exact thing, and he fixed it. The thing I really like about him is that he's been through adversity. He played at the highest level you could play at in California, and then he went to Florida. And when you go from two different spots like that, you're no longer the guy. Everybody's not trying to pat you on the back. You're just another name when you go to IMG. And then when you go to LSU, well, you're just another defensive back. There's been hundreds of great defensive backs at LSU. And you know what Elias Ricks did? Even though he got burned on the very first time in the first half, he made the game-changing interception in the second half. His mental fortitude is on a different level. And I know a lot of people don't like the hot dogging and the penalties. It could happen. Both of his pick sixes, he hot dogged on in. But guess what? That comes with the territory. Because to be that smart, to be that mentally strong, to have gone through some of the things that he went through, that's part of it. You got to have that confident, swagadocious attitude to play this position at the level he played it last year. And that's what makes him so interesting to me. From Oakland, California. Yeah, wonderful guy. And that's the thing. It's something that, and this is what makes him very fascinating as well. Because him staying at a school for more than 1 year is something he's not accustomed to, right? Because as I just mentioned, he went from place to place to place to place. So he's also different in that aspect. Maybe there is a piece of him that says, okay, I've done what I could do here at LSU. Let me go somewhere else, because we don't have a defensive coordinator. So I've done some digging. I just don't see it happening, people. I just don't see it happening. Once again, these are just rumors. But I want you also to remember this as well. Because everyone in here, yeah, and that's a good point. Ricks versus DJ Uiagalelei, one of the highest rated 5-star quarterbacks ever. So this is what's very interesting. Tasha, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that. $20. Thank you so much. Tasha, it is your floor. Whatever you want to talk about, you obviously want to talk about Elias Ricks, so we'll keep talking about Elias Ricks. So this is what's so interesting about him, is that he knows anywhere he goes, he's going to be great. And Ohio State and USC, their corners are not good. They're just not good football players. So, I could easily see a situation where that crosses his mind. Remember, you notice the difference here between the 3 5-stars for LSU. Kayshon, Kayshon Boutte, Eric Gilbert, Elias Ricks. Now, each one of the 5 has no rumors about being transferred. That's right, Kayshon Boutte. Now, why is that the case? Because he's from Louisiana. And I want this to be clear. Every single one of us that are in this live chat right now, we want more than anything to one day play for LSU football or be a part of LSU football. LSU football is our livelihoods, okay? But it's not the livelihood or people look up to for the rest of their life like it is for kids from Louisiana. And I've done a deep dive on this. A lot of you have seen this. 5-star kids from Louisiana hit at a far higher rate than the 5 stars LSU gets from out of state. And it's proven to be true. So that's the difference. Kayshon Boutte is at his dream school. There is an intrinsic value to playing at LSU. That is not the case for anyone else that comes in from out of state. Anyone else that comes in from out of state, well, Garrett Nussmeier's a little bit different because he's had family in Louisiana, but most people that come from out of state, they are coming for football reasons. Derek Davis Jr. is here to play football, okay? He didn't grow up loving LSU football. So that's what makes this interesting because now, and for those that are coming in from over Twitter, don't freak out too much over Elias Ricks. He is the best player on this football team. And I think there's a pretty decent margin between him and the next best player. The dominance he displayed from day one to where we are now is pretty crazy. But the era that we live in now, with the immediate transfer, and Eric's right, Nuss was born in Louisiana as well, but with the immediate transfer rule now, guess what? We're going to hear rumors over every true freshman at LSU that is great. It's going to happen every single time, whether or not you like it. Now, someone brought up, well, I don't like the tampering with Georgia and US. It's going to happen, people. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So just be ready for it. And I know, earlier this week, like I said, it's tough. It's really tough to handle this. We've gotten so much bad news regarding our program for weeks on end now. We had a fight with our own NFL team this week. It's been kind of weird. It's been kind of weird. Ooh, that's a good question. Stingley better than Ricks? I'll put it this way. I really do. To be known, right? And I do want everyone to understand this. Derek Stingley Jr. was great. He was absolutely incredible his freshman year. All right. Oh, Cliff, we're not getting there yet. I got my bone to pick with T-Bob. We'll do that a little bit later. We're going to cliffhang it. Well, we call this in the media business as a cliffhanger. Okay? So, what we have to understand is that from this point forward, because of the immediate transfer rule, we're going to hear rumors about every true freshman that is great. It's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. SPH, who's played college football, he says Stingley's better than Ricks. Yeah, I could. You see, that's what I thought too, the Ghastly Gamer. I really do. But I'm telling you, I don't know if I've seen a better true freshman season than Elias Ricks. I mean, he was hurt versus Florida and still had that kind of game. It's unreal. It is unreal. You just don't, it just doesn't happen. Now, a lot of you want to talk defensive coordinators. And once again, I want to make sure I get your name correct. Tasha, it is still your super chat time. Anytime, anything you want to talk about, Tasha, if you want to talk defensive coordinator, if you want to talk Matt Flynn, you can bring up anyone you want to. A lot of you think Sting was better last year. Well, I'm telling you, the Georgia game was so incredible. It really was. So, it would be very nice to have Stingley and Ricks together. That would be LSU's best cornerback duo since 2010 with Patrick Peterson and Morris Claiborne. Robert, I like that. That's a good characterization. Oh, God. King, that's a good point. Are we going to get Booger? I'm going to take the trash out and go get her. Yeah. I don't think we're ready for Booger yet. No, not yet. Okay. Let's let him hold on for a little bit. Stingley is a better technician, but Ricks is a better ball player. I could roll with that too. They're both great. And that would be the best corner duo we've had since 2010 with our boy PP7 and MC17. Oh, thank you, Tasha. I appreciate that. Bug the dog. Oh, no. Carvis! About time I saw you. If anyone knows football in here, Carvis. I'm telling you, Carvis is sharp. Stingley's more yeah, Bruce, that's a good point too. And it kind of speaks to their personalities. Ricks is the more edgy personality. At overtime, that's a good point about Cory Raymond. I think he's a good defensive backs coach. What's going to be fascinating, and I know, Cliff, you've brought this up a few times as well, about the safeties and the corners not practicing together. Brody Miller had that report about there was people on the defense that didn't really feel Bill Bush's coaching style. There was communication issues. But here's my counter to that. I mean, Bill Bush is what, top 5 LSU recruiter of all time? I mean, you got Derek Davis. We had no business getting Derek Davis. And Bill Bush pulled that off. And then, of course, what was the guy? The quarterback from Ohio, that guy. That Bill Bush got that guy too, which is why a lot of us are not as sad as we would be after a year we had this past year. So it's interesting. Carlos, I appreciate that. So overtime brings up a good point. I'm really going to have my eye on Cory Raymond this year. If we don't see significant improvement from the DB position, he's on the hot seat for me. Yes, the 5 stars will play well, but what are we developing? So, okay, let me, and here we go. Overtime continues. I think Raymond is a great recruiter of talent, but an average position coach. I could be wrong, but I don't see us developing lesser talent to good and good to great. So, to overtime's point, Cory Raymond was just the cornerbacks coach. Remember that. Bill Bush was the safeties coach. So how much of the safety play could you put on Bill Bush? Also, what's fascinating to me, and I'm not at LSU practices, what would be interesting to me, though, is when they did individual drills, who would Cordell Flott work with? Who would Kerry Vincent work with? I'm guessing he would work with the corners. So there are some questions. How is Cory Raymond going to adjust to coaching the entire secondary if LSU decides to not get a safeties coach? Also, Cory Raymond's the best recruiter of defensive backs in the country. I don't see how you could go against that. Demarius McGee this year, he's already got Jadarian Rom. They got the kid from Texas over this Derek Stingley. List goes on. So, if fruit at that level, you can forgive technical mistakes. So I think, to your point, overtime, you can evaluate Cory Raymond's ability to coach the secondary if he actually coaches the entire secondary. So it's interesting. And Ulysses brings up here, he did it for 7 years. We never had a safety coach until Bill Bush. So Bill Bush was the safeties coach for how many years? 3 years? 2 or 3 years? So before that, Cory Raymond coached Jamal Adams. He coached Dante Jackson. Those are pretty good football players there. Let's see what Jordan. I think Stingley is much better at the fundamentals than yeah, I agree with you. Ricks is in the same mold as a Marcus Peters and Asante Samuel. I like that. Those are some diehard NFL references. But yeah, I think if you ask most college coaches, would they trade their current DB coach for Cory Raymond? They would say yes. And here's something that should scare you just a little bit. There still is a defensive back coach opening, last I checked, at Georgia. So if you're Georgia and you want to get better corners and you want to pay $1 million to have a defensive backs coach the caliber of Cory Raymond, I think about it. Trust me, Texas thought about it. I agree with you, Robert. One secondary coach. Cory Raymond has developed some 3-star DBs. Okay. Who are some 3-star DBs? So was Morris Claiborne pre-Cory? I think he was pre-Cory Raymond. Let's see. Other 3-star DBs. Help me out, Carvis. Robert, I shipped your card out today. Robert was one of our card winners. He got an autographed Rashard Lawrence card, rookie card, holograph card. Greedy Williams, 3-star, okay, yeah. Honey Badger was a 3-star, yeah. Depends on the service you looked at. Robert dropping a 50 burger. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Robert, you've donated so much money to the channel. I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoy that Rashard Lawrence card. Everybody show some love to Robert. And I hope you and the family are doing well. I hope you and the family are feeling better. Just a birthday gift. Thank you so much, Robert. And I'm not going to lie, we did have to go get Booger some new food from the vet today, and that definitely helps out towards that bill. So thank you so much. So everyone show Robert some love. Welcome in, Robert. We have a lot of viewers from South Carolina. Robert is a South Carolina Tiger. Marcus, he's not here tonight. I don't know where Marcus is. He is also a South Carolina Tiger. Let's see. Jalen Mills was 3-star. Interesting. You know what's, so Jalen Mills was suspended. This would have been a great trivia question. Out of all the great defensive backs who played at LSU, if Jalen Mills was not suspended for the first 6 games of his senior season, he would have been the only defensive back to start every single game. Legit. Jalen Mills started every single game. And he played traditional corner, played slot corner, played safety. Very underrated. When you talk about the great LSU Tiger defensive backs, who are the first people you name? Well, obviously Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Peterson are the first two. Then you say Eric Reed, Chad Jones, those guys. But Jalen Mills was solid. One of the most versatile LSU defensive backs we've ever seen, along with Dante Jackson. One of the few guys who could play every position in the secondary. I'm glad y'all mentioned Jalen Mills, the Super Bowl champion. Julio Jones guarding Green Goblin Jalen Mills. Oh, she's going to town on her new food? Oh, good. Yeah, so we had to get some new food for Booger today. And Robert, thank you for your donation. We appreciate that. Yeah, Mo Claiborne was a 3-star, but was he before? What's up, Joanne? What's up, James? We got some Arkansas Tigers in there. That's my kind of blood right there. I am drinking sweet tea with Starburst cherry. No drinking tonight. Isaac says, who do I think will be in the Super Bowl? For me, the perfect Super Bowl matchup would be the Bills and the Packers. I would really like that Super Bowl matchup. But like I said in the video earlier this week, if you're a diehard LSU fan, the one team you don't want in the Super Bowl is the Packers because they were the only team in the NFL playoffs this year that didn't have one LSU Tiger. What's up, Kareem? Kareem, I appreciate that. Ring the bell for Robert. I love that. Robert's a New Orleans boy. Yeah, I like it. Let's see. Chiefs versus Packers. Ha 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 ha. The Super Bowl and Bills don't have a good history. So think about if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, okay, and you lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls. I'm not gonna lie, I'm rooting for the Bills. I really am. After what they did for Lamar Jackson, I want that for the Bills fans. I thought that was really freaking cool. And also, I'd be remiss to not say this. God, the Hank Aaron stuff that really bothered me today. And I'm not a big baseball guy, but Hank Aaron, Lou Brock, Bob Gibson, Tommy Lasorda, Don Sutton, all in the past like 5 months. Really? And I know a lot of you are like LSU baseball fans and baseball. I remember I got to hear a Tommy Lasorda speech. Paul Manieri brought him in, and I was lucky to be in the room with Tommy Lasorda. It was really cool. What did they do for Lamar? They did so Lamar got concussed, and the Buffalo Bills fans donated a lot of money to Lamar Jackson's charity in Louisville. And that's just really cool. They do that a lot. They really do. And I think they donate the dollar amount of that player's uniform. So a lot of Bills fans were donating like $8. And of course, that adds up. Okay, everybody. Tony said he's done eating. Okay. So we're going to interrupt this live chat of 100 people to see how Tony's KFC was. Patrick Mahomes boy winning another Super Bowl. Sorry, guys. I don't think the Chiefs are going to do it. I think of the 4 teams that are left, I think the Chiefs are actually playing the worst. I really do. If you watch them the past month of the year, they didn't play as good as they did earlier in the year. I think the Bills have played better in the past few months. The Packers are playing better than anyone. And even, Tampa Bay didn't play all that well against the Saints. The Saints lost that game more than Tampa Bay won it. Now, I know I'm sour Saints fan here, but still. Yeah, I'm cheering for the Bills. I'm with overtime. I'm cheering for the Bills. I'm cheering for Trey White. And I'm not only cheering for Trey White, I know he's not on the team anymore. I'm cheering for Kyle Williams. And, of course, one of the Ferguson brothers is a deep snapper. Okay, so I know some of you wanted to talk about the Ryan Nielsen thing, and we obviously spent most of our last live chat on Tuesday. So I'll respond to this because I know a lot of you are like me. You're an LSU fan and you're also a Saints fan. So let me address Bruce's comment here. Did anyone hear Sean Payton say that Ryan Nielsen told him he didn't want the LSU job, so he wanted Payton to block the job? Okay. Whenever stuff like this happens, you're going to hear all different kinds of conspiracy theories. The bottom line is Ryan Nielsen really wanted to go to LSU. The opportunity to get your first defensive coordinator opportunity with the man who you owe your career to is something that would be something that I would like to do. If my defensive line coach asked me to go coach with it, that would be my dream. I miss my defensive line coach. I still talk to him, but I don't get to see him as much anymore. There is a strong connection with your position coach. And, I just don't see a scenario where Ryan Nielsen said, okay, I don't want this job anymore. Okay. Now, I shared this earlier in the week. I think we dodged a bullet. I don't think that this was a good fit. I really don't, for a lot of reasons. That doesn't mean Ryan Nielsen isn't a sharp guy, but LSU needs to overhaul their secondary, okay? And what I mean by that is the biggest problem with LSU last year was that they gave up way too many easy, explosive plays. Now, look, Ryan Nielsen may know so much about defensive schematics that he would prove me wrong. But I would prefer someone with a track record in the secondary or the linebacker position to come in and fix that huge problem. Because, as many of you know, the metrics that often coincide with you winning football games are turnovers and explosive plays. Okay, now obviously that's a very general thing. LSU just gave up way too many explosive plays. Even in the games that they won, Arkansas, 5 for 5 on passes of 20 yards or more. 5 for 5. They were perfect chunking the football down the field. Even against South Carolina, probably our most impressive, dominant victory of the season. Okay? South Carolina still had 7 plays of 20 yards or more. That is what needs to be fixed. Some of y'all young whippersnappers don't know Kyle Williams, but Kyle Williams was a monster. You know what the biggest upset, and this is going to be a diehard LSU football comment. The biggest upset to me, okay, I am shocked that Kyle Williams had a 20,000 times better career than Chad Lavallee. I am still shocked by that. Do y'all remember how good Chad Lavallee was at tackle football? Goodness gracious. Chad Lavallee was a monster. And I was like, this guy's going to kill it at the NFL. He's going to freaking kill it. But, only the real ones know Chad Lavallee. Let me see if I could find some love for some Chad Lavallee. I know, Robert, it's still your super chat time. Dude, what happened? What the freak happened to Chad Lavallee? So my mom tells this story a lot. I freaked out when I saw Chad Lavallee in the Louisiana Mall. Okay. I freaked out. I was like, Mom, that is Chad Lavallee. And he didn't have a posse. He was the most humble, cool guy. He gave me like a little rubber band off his wrist. And dude, I talked to him for 15 minutes. It was so freaking cool. And I was young in my defensive tackle career. And it was, oh man, dude, I just freaked out. And I hated it. Never worked out. I really did. He just bombed. What? But Kyle Williams was just that good. I mean, Kyle Williams was so freaking good for the Bills. So I kind of want this for him. And apparently Kyle Williams is like a ridiculously good golfer. He just looks like one of those guys that is just good at everything. Like if Kyle Williams were to sit down right here, he could do a far better live stream. You know what I'm saying? You had those friends in high school that are just freaking good at every last thing that they put their mind to. Kyle Williams is one of those guys. Exactly, Robert. Maybe that's a good way to describe it. Williams was just a more solid all-around player. But Chad Lavallee, whew. But it's weird, though, because, you know, like you look at, I mean, is Kyle Williams the best LSU NFL defensive lineman? I would say so, right? You look overall, like the great LSU defensive linemen, so many of them never really turned to be good pros. Now, Marcus Spears and Marquise Hill were really good. Al Woods was so much better in the NFL than he was at college. Remember, I also taught Kyle was better than the Chad. He was in the DL era when DL was. Yeah, that's true. Does anyone know where Chad Lavallee's from? I don't want to look it up on the Wikipedia right now because I want to focus on you guys. Gasly, that's a good point. Gasly really wants David Reeves from UAB. You know what? The really good thing about David Reeves, obviously he's not a young up-and-comer, but he's still young at heart because he hasn't gotten that big opportunity. And he's proven year in and year out that he's put out good defenses. Now, this is a concern, and this could also be a concern for Glenn Schuman. UAB and Georgia play at a far slower pace than what LSU is going to play at. DC, what's up? Robert, what's up? Marksville? That's good. Yeah, James, James brings up a good point as well. We will not hear about another DC candidate until he is hired. Remember, and you know what, James, it's interesting because we haven't heard many DC leaks. The Glenn Schuman has been contacted by LSU leak was not from an LSU reporter. It was from the Atlanta Journal-Constitutional. Yeah, Michael, it's true. It's been reported by AJC, and they're really good. I used to be employed by them. DC, thank you so much for the happy birthday wish. So you know what, Amacat? That question's brought up a lot. Does Cory Raymond want to be the defensive coordinator? Now, that's the interesting thing. LSU doesn't make their position coaches available to be interviewed. But that would be a very huge question. For someone to specifically ask him, would you be interested in being the LSU defensive coordinator? As a reporter, you're taught to not give yes or no questions, right? Because you want the person you're interviewing to elaborate. But that would be a yes or no question. That would be very interesting to know. Because like some of you say, there is a luxury to making $600,000 a year at a job you're already really good at. The LSU defensive back position is very recession-proof, if that makes sense. Every defensive back wants to go to LSU. And it's interesting. And I know this because I interviewed a bunch of three-star defensive backs that aren't from Louisiana. I interviewed a bunch of them in Arkansas. And I didn't bring up that I'm from Louisiana or anything. I would always ask them, who is the one defensive back you look up to the most? And every single one of them say Tyrann Mathieu. And I say, why? And they say, well, I watch him all the time on YouTube. There was a player who I knew, and I'm still friends with him to this day. He was a great high school defensive back. He ended up playing at Kansas. And he said, you know what, Carter? I would watch Tyrann Mathieu clips before every football game. You know, it's weird. Like, the Tyrann Mathieu phenomena, to me, is still the most unique football player I've ever seen at LSU. And I know he's getting ready to go for another Super Bowl. In fact, my favorite sports card is a Tyrann Mathieu rookie autograph card, and it is currently being graded. I'm going to keep it forever. You know, I love this guy. You know, it was weird, watching him play. And I just always said, I don't think I'll ever see anyone like this guy again. So, Ranji, tell Cory I'm happy to have him on. I don't have like technology to get his face on here. We could FaceTime him right here, though. You see, Michael, that's what I fear. That is agents leaking that. Kareem says, I think Nielsen would have been great. You're thinking linebackers or DBs. What if he improved the D-line so much with great pass rush, the back end would automatically get better? So that's a good point, Kareem. My counter to that is, well, the LSU pass rush was spotty, but it was actually pretty good. It's just we would blow assignments in the secondary so much that it didn't even matter. Exactly, Kyle. And it wasn't just the fact that Tyrann, the clip you see a lot, obviously, are the punt returns. But here's the thing about punt returns. There have been plenty of crazy punt returns. What made Tyrann Mathieu so unique was the play versus Oregon, where he forced a fumble, picked it up, run into the end zone. The play versus Kentucky, forced a fumble, pick it up, go in the end zone. That is so freaking rare, and it's so freaking hard to do. To locate the ball while running full speed, knocking the football, and picking it up off the bounce. Remember, a football is an oblong-shaped item. He could predict the way the ball would bounce, right? because he would pick up fumbles so easily that it wasn't just luck, because fumbles in the analytics community is a very luck stat. Because they say it's random. But he forced so many fumbles and recovered them so cleanly so many times and returned so many of them that it wasn't luck. There's never been anyone like that. And to this day, and we've never seen it. That's what's interesting. You want to get bigger? Yeah, it's going to get bigger. Joe Burrow was great. But there have been other great quarterbacks. There's never been anyone like Tyrann Mathieu. So Joe Burrow had the greatest single season we've ever seen from an LSU player. But Tyrann Mathieu's 2011 season, you'll never see that again, because no one has come close. No one. Some people will mention, Derwin James and no. Let's see. Good night, Yusha. R.I.P. Hank Aaron. Yeah, for sure. Hank's just a monster. It was so weird. I could share so many Hank Aaron stories, and I wasn't even a Braves fan, but what he went through is so freaking wild. I read a story before I came on here, and it just chilled me to my bone. The Atlanta Journal-Constitutional, ironically, was getting so many phone calls from people saying just pure racist stuff. They thought that Hank Aaron was going to be assassinated before he broke Babe Ruth's record. So they had written an obituary for this guy because they thought he was going to get killed. And what was so crazy was he hit the home run, and then Vin Scully had the iconic call. And we'll get back to LSU football, but this is important. He had the iconic call, and then after that, there was a guy that ran on the field. Like, imagine if that happened now. Imagine if someone ran on the field in this iconic moment. It was like Stanford band times 10. She's in a food coma. Her new food. Gosh, she's looking a little chunky.
I know.
She's a little chunked up. So rest in peace, Hank Aaron. She was going. So she had to go. So our dog had to go from like hard food to like soft food. I know that's like a weird transition, Hank Aaron, to here. I know a lot of you want to see Bug. Yeah, it's football IQ.
I'll hold her because she's kind of full.
No, give her here. Hold on, it's my birthday. Hey, baby girl. Everyone say hi to Bug.
She got a full belly.
She got a full belly. She's right here. She's got her LSU thing. She put her best sweater on for the birthday occasion. Carlton, welcome to the chat, man. So let me throw this question out to you guys. Out of all the names that have been floated around there, everybody welcome Carlton to the channel. Let me just throw it out there. Who do you guys want for the next? Look, Debbie. Debbie's always the first. When Booger comes on,
a piece of food.
She got a piece of food.
Yeah.
Was she really just chunking?
Oh, she loved
just
it.
chunking.
And I only gave her 1/3 of the can.
Yeah, don't give her too much.
I'm not.
I'm proud of you, Bug. Got your
She
new
was
food
so
today
happy, like
from
it
the
was
vet.
a Thanksgiving meal.
Everybody welcome old Carlton. So which defensive coordinator do you guys want? So a lot of you say Glenn Schuman. Bug wears number 7. That's right. That's true, V-Long. That's scary. Which defensive coordinator would not want that? Bug about to be. Hey, Esteban, that's why we have to do the live stream tonight.
I know.
We have Bug playing a full birthday day of festivities tomorrow. Debbie want Jack Del Rio. I'm open to some Jack Del Rio. Wait, was that Craig Sager, Cliff? Really? That dude looks like it. Was that really Craig Sager?
She needs a haircut.
She does.
Yeah, we should have scheduled.
Trey, so Glenn Schuman's 30 years of age, coached at Bama for a little bit, then Kirby brought him over.
Oh, goodness.
The Saints. Ha, 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 ha. Neptune. I don't think that avenue is open right now. All right, well, go put her in the bed.
No, she's got to go out after that meal.
Oh,
Are
yeah,
you kidding?
she is kind of chunk of monkey.
Now listen, it's gonna be different for a few days.
Oh, her booms could be different?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that ain't getting me demonetized.
You didn't say a bad word.
I know, but, excretion.
Well, why did you just say that?
I don't know.
It's okay.
Who were you rooting for, Ohio State or Bama? Well, I had Ohio State plus 10, so I was cheering for Ohio State. You know what, Juwan? I've heard that name a lot. All right, so who in here is familiar with Tosh? How do you say his last name, Juwan? Is it Lepoy? So, let's see. I'm from Baton Rouge, yes. Pierce from Arizona State. That would be a recruiting force. I did not know, Cliff, that was Craig Sager. I had no idea.
I love that he pops you a text.
Someone said Dennis Allen. So Tosh Lepoy, okay, he was the Washington defensive coordinator
so much booger.
when they had like Buda Baker. Do y'all remember Buda Baker at Washington? He was a monster. But that was that Washington team with Chris Peterson that made the playoff, and then they got beat by Bama. They didn't get blown out, but it was 24-7. And then Tosh went to Alabama, and then the Trevor Lawrence game happened, and then they were out.
Heck was that?
What was that? Is somebody coming in? I think somebody. I think so. Are our doors locked?
Baby, nobody is coming.
Someone's coming to get you, Bug.
No, they're not.
Can
Look
you
at
tell
her.
them to
She's
fold
going
the?
to sleep. Look at her.
How about that guy, Nick Saban? Tony said anyone better than Bo Pelini. I agree with you. V-Law, it's all good. Schuman's an incredible recruiter. Michael, that's a good point. But my counter to that is it's because the other defensive coordinator was the one who was calling the plays, and Lanning already makes north of $1 million. I want to give Zach Arnett a second look. So the thing about Arnett is so many different like rumors about how the actual interview went.
Hey, Uncle Cliff.
Wait, Tosh was the one who recruited Najee. Oh, that makes sense because he was their West Coast recruiter.
Look at her. She's loving this.
All right, well, let her go, OUT. Go on ahead. I'm stressed about the defensive coordinator thing. Let's see. Dave Aranda. Don't think he's leaving a head coaching job. Debbie said, good night, booger. Kisses.
She'll be back.
She'll
bring her back.
She might come back.
She'll be back.
You know what? I'm open to Lepoy.
She's so fat right now. Did you feel her stomach?
She was heavy. Dang, Boog, who say you can eat without me?
Did you just hear that?
Someone asked what I'm having tonight. What am I having tonight?
Okay.
Spaghetti bake.
No, baked spaghetti.
Baked spaghetti. I love the spaghetti.
My mom made it.
I love baked spaghetti.
What you're doing tomorrow night with my parents?
Oh yeah, we're having a smash burger party.
You should go live for like 5 minutes and show them Dad doing it.
Oh, we should do a live like on my Instagram if y'all are interested. So y'all could see some.
Daddy loves
I've never
it.
done a live Instagram. If y'all want to see our cooking process. Who is my favorite defensive coordinator from the last 20 years? I'm going to say Chief. I'm going to go Chavis because Chavis, we were talking about Tyrann Mathieu a minute ago. Chavis was the one who created the Mustang package. And it changed that team in a major way. So what was interesting was LSU's... Oh, goodness. So what made LSU so interesting that year was they only had one linebacker who played a lot, and that was Ryan Baker. So what Chief decided to do was play 6 defensive backs. And the 6 defensive backs on the field were Daryl Simon and Mo Claiborne at the traditional corners. Brandon Taylor, I believe, was a leading tackler on the team. So he played the box safety role, and then Eric Reed played the free safety role. And that's also what helped Tyrann Mathieu make the plays that he could play, that he made because there was so much speed on the field. Ron Brooks was incredible too. So, and I know a lot of you bring up 3rd and Chavis, and that is a thing. But I thought Chief overall was a net positive for LSU. What's up, Kane? I was wondering if Kane was swinging by. Let's see. Someone brought up, Brian, what was the reason we whiffed on Marcus Freeman? So there's different reports out there regarding that. I did, and I was told by someone that is really in the know that this was family reasons why Marcus Freeman didn't come to LSU. He had already told his position group that he was going to LSU. And, he said, I'm going to Notre Dame. Simple as that. Talented people have options, and I understand it. Understand it wholeheartedly. Kane's in the building. Whose birthday? Get that diction right, Kane. Whose birthday? I think Kyle. And that defensive line was Montgomery, Mingo, Logan, and Brockers, with Ego Ferguson coming off the bench. That was a good group.
She's not having it. She need to go to bed.
Amacat, what's funny? I actually did like a long breakdown. I was writing for SB Nation at the time on that play. And I interviewed Lamine Barrow, who was on the field for that 2012 play.
All right.
And Jalen Mills was right. He was, and it was just a perfect play call. So what he was taught to specifically do in that situation was, if the running back stayed in to blitz, okay, and Alabama picked up on it, and they decided to dink it over the top, and it was just a perfect play call. It's hard to really get on a true freshman for not reading that. It had more to do with a perfect play call and Yeldon running the perfect screen. A low-key crazy part about that play is that Barkevius Mingo almost chased him down from behind and made the tackle. But still, that game still hurts, the 2012 game, obviously. But it is what it is. But I remember Lamine Barrow. I talked to him for a while. He strongly defended Jalen Mills in that situation. Let's see. Does anybody remember Kevin Steele as our DC? Kevin Steele was a good DC. He was better at Auburn than he was at LSU. Let's see. I do agree. I'm happy Derek Mason is not our defensive coordinator. Not my favorite option. My favorite options from the get-go, Marcus Freeman was by far my number one, and Glenn Schuman, amongst a few other names, were in a category behind it. But Marcus Freeman is the next big star in coaching. He's going to be really good at Notre Dame for 2 or 3 years, and then he'll be the coach at a good Power 5 school. Now, how good, I could see him being the head coach at anywhere, really. I think he's the next Matt Campbell in the coaching industry. Trey, enjoy your dinner. Tell the family I said hi. Let's see. There are way too many January birthdays. Let's see. You know what, Jay Moore say? I think Derek Mason is probably laughing because, we were just so heavily invested on Marcus Freeman. I mean, that was a full court blitz by LSU. We'll see. I'm not gonna lie. I don't understand what Auburn is doing right now. I didn't like their defensive coordinator hire. I didn't like their offensive coordinator hire. And what's fascinating about it is, if you go hire Brian Harsin, who is an outside-the-box hire, right? Getting someone from Boise State to come into the SEC, you would think he would bring in fresh ideas, but you hire the head coach in the SEC with the worst record last year, and you poach Mike Bobo from South Carolina. Really? And then they got rid of their really good linebackers coach who, if there's a position Auburn's good at every year, it's linebacker, whether it's Britt or Burns or whoever. Takeo Spikes, no, that's old school. But still, I don't know what Auburn's doing, and I really do believe this. I wish my boy Vernon's an Auburn YouTuber. I think Auburn is running themselves out of contention. I really do. I hate the direction they're going. But that's good for LSU. Amacat, have a good night, man. I appreciate you for being a supporter of the channel. Amacat has really informed me on the 90s era LSU teams. Those 90s were very weird. More like Mike Boo Boo. Exactly. I didn't understand it. And Bruce, I've heard that Harsin is trying to hire SEC guys for recruiting purposes, but then why get rid of the linebackers coach? His name slips my mind, who is the best recruiter on the staff. At overtime, a lot of people wondered that too. How much of the defense was Luke Fickle and how much of the defense was Marcus? Dude, everyone I spoke to said that was the Freeman show. Now, I could be wrong about that. They could have just been saying that to be nice. Because Luke Fickle obviously is, a high-tier head coach. Now, let me see. Cliff wants me to point out my beef with T-Bob. Okay, so T-Bob and his lovely crew of characters, they do this ranking every week over food items. And a lot of you know, food is a big thing to me, right? T-Bob did a chicken tier. I'm guessing it was chicken or fried chicken tier. And he did it of like chain restaurants. So, obviously my number one fried chicken joint is Mama's Fried Chicken in Opelousas, Louisiana. The greatest fried chicken to ever walk the face of the earth is Mama's Fried Chicken. Mike, thank you so much. But T-Bob only had Popeyes in his high tier, which is fine with me. I'm a huge Popeyes fan. But he had Pluckers on the same level as KFC. Now, I know, Tony, you're watching right now. Tony had some KFC. But my beef with T-Bob is that he had Pluckers way too low. I freaking love Pluckers. Every time I'm in Baton Rouge, I've got to go to Pluckers. And I know that's not Louisiana food, but still. All right. And obviously, I know Pluckers is in Dallas. It's not just a Baton Rouge thing. Pluckers is freaking incredible. Okay. So, Mr. Jim's Fried Chicken in Shreveport. Okay. I got to try that out. So, that is my beef with T-Bob. Okay. You can't. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Put it in. You can't shortchange Pluckers. You just be careful. There's all those boxes in there.
Oh. Well, it's in here somewhere. I know.
Best chicken in Louisiana is Willie Mae's Scotch House. Where is it? Willie Mae's Scotch House? Why not Pruitt? Okay, let's get back to this.
Found it.
Jeremy Pruitt would be an awful hire in every way imaginable. Okay. Southern Classic? No, Southern Classic. Oh, Chickadilly. That's a South Arkansas thing now. It's in New Orleans. I've never had Mother's Fried Chicken. When you're in New Orleans, it's kind of hard to wait in a line for something, because every freaking restaurant's great. Crescent City Brewery, right beside Jackson Square. Some of the most delicious food on the planet. It's probably not even a top 100 New Orleans restaurant. I know, Todd Gurley and Sony Michel in the same freaking backfield. Mr. Jim's on Uri Drive in Shreveport. I like that. Willie Mars? What's Willie Mars? Ooh, Jordan with some fighting words. The best food is in the 337 and not the 504. Really, Jordan? Are you going to say that right now? So as Esteban points out here, Jeremy Pruitt would be an awful hire. Number one, how would we even know he'd be a good defensive coordinator? And number two, I mean, the McDonald's cash in the bag story and the Dan Patrick show was the one that reported that. Now, Dan Patrick doesn't need to break news for his money to be made. His job is not to break news, okay? So if he's going to say something, he's not a controversial guy. He's not going to say, he's not a hot take if he's going to say something that's going to create buzz, it's not going to be false. It's just sloppy. It's just sloppy. Like, you don't hand recruits money in McDonald's bags. Five Guys is legit. We're talking about chicken and someone brings up Five Guys. Five Guys is good, though. Plenty of Five Guys in Louisiana. Lafayette food is good. I don't know if it's better than New Orleans, though. 337 puts tomatoes in their jambalaya. Oh, my goodness. Kevin, you can't just be coming in and just saying stuff like that, man. Let's see, Blake. Oh, you were answering. Who brought up Five Guys for a fried chicken? Blake, I shouldn't have called you out. I'm telling you. Everyone tells me about Baton Rouge blue ribbon chicken. I just don't know if I want to go somewhere else that's not Pluckers. I'm telling you, I freaking love Pluckers. Freaking love it. I would reach out to them to sponsor my channel, but I don't live near a Pluckers. Isaac brought up Five Guys. But still, I was like, T-Bob, really? You're a taste master, and they do it every week, okay? And you have Pluckers on that. I mean, come on. That's. I mean, both. Well, I don't know. Is the location still up near Baton Rouge, like near campus? Across from Tigerland? Because that was the one I would always go to. And then I would go to the one in front of the Louisiana Mall, or the Baton Rouge Mall, Louisiana. And that one's good too. God, it gets me hungry. Bruce, I'll see you on Tuesday for the live chat, man. LSU plays Kentucky tomorrow, right? How great is it to say that Kentucky is like an automatic win this year? Coach Cal, what happened? Not going to lie. One of the coolest interview moments was when I was at the SEC tournament and Karl Anthony Towns was being interviewed. And, you go into the locker rooms for the interviews, and his Air Force One was sitting on the floor. And I know there's a story about the Shaquille O'Neal shoe, 24 Triple E. Karl Anthony Towns wore a size 20. I just couldn't imagine having a size 20 foot. Like, how do you go shopping? I'm mad we lost to Bama in basketball. You know what's funny? I don't watch much LSU basketball. I sat and watched that game. When the other team is hitting every freaking three, you're going to lose every single time. I've never seen a team that hot shooting the ball. Ooh, Tony and Ulysses going back to back. 2 PHL day ones. What's up, Tampa Bay? I haven't seen you in a minute. Are you fired up for the weekend? I know some of you are like diehard LSU basketball fans, and it's weird because it's kind of like an afterthought. But, I mean, you're not going to beat a team that hits every freaking three. So some of you are into about Oak in the gumbo. I'm not an okra and gumbo guy. Okay, overtime. The Pelicans are just bad. They are so bad, and I'm a diehard Pelly fan. My dad and I go to a lot of games. Look, and we don't live really in, I mean, we got to drive. The Pelicans, I don't know how this team got so dang. I don't care if we lose, okay? But be exciting. We got Zion freaking Williamson. Our team, it's painful to watch us, okay? I feel like I would take Iowa's offense over our offense right now. I'm dead serious. Eric Bledsoe can't shoot. Lonzo can't shoot. Steven Adams can't shoot. Zion can't really shoot. In a league where you got to shoot the three to win. Why are we so bad? Okay? I don't mind being bad. We're in the Western Conference, okay? But get us some guards that could shoot. Ooh, Philae. King Ulysses. King Ulysses. So many people so many people that don't know what you're talking about. They're saying, ooh, who puts file in their gumbo? Who puts file in their gumbo? Bayou Smacker Dix Ford is like, he actually sends me what he's cooking every night because he knows I'm a foodie. What's up, Kevin? Okay, he wants to go to recruiting. Thanks for your super chat. We haven't had a super chat in a while, and I did check that it is my birthday. You listen, everyone's like, wait, what's he talking about? You put a file cabinet in your gumbo? What are these crazy Louisiana? I just love that because I didn't know what Philae was a few years ago, and I read it that same way. Philae is on fire. Stringers. Oh, man. So Kevin wants to talk some recruiting. Okay. Obviously, there has been some concern in this aspect. Obviously, there's still 3 slots left to go. The class of 2022 took a hit. Brian Allen Jr. decommitted. That was expected. He was a Bill Bush recruit. He's also at Alito. JoJo Earl, also from Alito. You know the story on that. This was predictable. LSU still has Bryce Anderson. They also got Jadarian Rom. They also got the commit from this past weekend. So, I wouldn't freak out so much about that. Sean Washington out of Warren Easton also decommitted. I wouldn't freak out too much about that. If there's one position where LSU is really young and really talented, it's defensive tackle. And if Mason Smith and Jaqueline Roy turn out to be the players that we expect them to be, and Jacoby and Guillory and Eric Taylor fill out to be a good player, LSU's going to get a few defensive tackles in this class. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Obviously, the big recruiting news coming up here to answer Kevin's question, who super chatted, by the way, is Will Campbell, okay, the 4-star offensive lineman. He's practically a 5-star. He's right on the fringe of that. A top 60 prospect, according to 247. Once again, out of the neck of the woods of King Ulysses, North Louisiana, stand up. So Will Campbell's a big target, obviously, for LSU offensive tackle. Big piece to this program moving forward. Does he commit to LSU? His commitment date is coming up here in a few days, January 30th. Which is, 8 days away from now. So he will be recruiting or committing on a Saturday. So we'll see what happens. So, it is the class of 2022. It's still very early, but that's where it is right now. The only player in the class of 2022 that you really need to worry about is a guy that is as locked in as any player you'll ever see committed to LSU. And that is Walker Howard. As long as Walker Howard is committed in this class, a high-level 4-star Louisiana quarterback at the game's most important position, I think Walker Howard's really good. I do. Now, there's some pros and cons to Walker Howard. Obviously, his first year starting, Took his team to a state championship, throwing to the most prolific high school football wide receiver maybe ever in Jack Besh. He's certainly up there, the LSU commit. So Walker Howard had really good targets to throw to. His receiver unit was probably the best in the state. But if you actually sit down and watch him, that dude throws bullets. And, you could tell he's the son of a quarterback, an LSU quarterback. So as long as LSU gets Walker Howard, I'm happy with this class. Is he Quinn Ewers? No. Is he DJ Longplay? No, he's not. I can't miss type of prospect like that. But he is in your state, and that is the most important thing. So Walker Howard, I think, is a real deal, and that should be the one player you should focus on for the class of 2022. Obviously, there's some other players in that class. Walter Nolan is a guy that you guys keep asking me about, and you're like, God, we need him on our line. It'd be nice to get one of these 5 stars at a state lineman Bama gets every year. It would be nice. It would be very nice that LSU couldn't get with Tristan Lee. Obviously, it's sexy. Obviously, we see these other teams that compete for national championships. They're the ones that get the 5-star offensive lineman. Well, guess what? We're hopefully going to get that fixed. Hopefully, James Craig can get one of these guys. So, Kevin, I hope that answered your question about recruiting. Now, if you want to talk about this class, there's obviously 3 slots left. Some of you are split on Brian Thomas Jr. Would it make a lot of sense if he went to Texas A&M? Yes. Would it make a lot of sense if he went to Alabama? Yeah. Those are good programs. Like I say with every kid, go to the school you feel the most comfortable about and go to the school that makes you the happiest. Obviously, he's in Walker, Louisiana, which, less than an hour away from campus. 6'4", which makes him different than the other LSU receivers in this class, all of which are 6'1", 6'2"-ish and below. Some people think Brian Thomas Jr. is on a different level than the other receivers in this class. His tape's really good. Now, Jordan Moko, the offensive lineman, JUCO transfer, I think LSU's sitting pretty with that one. That would be very nice. The Eric Wilson news out of Harvard, I don't know what's going to happen with that. Hopefully the portal can maybe find another offensive lineman. Rajon Davis, I think, is out of the picture at this point. So those 3 slots left. Hopefully Savion Jones, hopefully everything still lines up with that. I think you should feel pretty comfortable with that. And he's a good ball player too. I think Savion Jones would make him very valuable, as I could see him playing a 3-tech, or if LSU goes back to a 3-man front, I could see him filling out and being a Rashard Lawrence type of player. Plays with a lot of energy. If you watch him, he plays with a lot of joy with the game of football. After every play, he's a teammate takes, he's always pumping everyone up. I like that. I like seeing the little intangibles that pop up when you watch their huddle or their YouTube, or you talk to when you talk to other high school coaches. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. King Ulysses is, you've said this plenty of times now, and I'm going to hold you to it. Malik Neighbors. What's very interesting about Malik Neighbors is, I call this the underwear Olympics. I did a video about 7-on-7 football. Malik Neighbors has some of the most ridiculous catches you'll ever see in 7-on-7 football. Now, does that mean anything? I think it does. I think since the game isn't as physical as it once was, can't really hit the receivers anymore, can't really hit the quarterbacks anymore. 7-on-7 is pretty physical. I've seen a lot of 7-on-7 tournaments and 7-on-7 drills where that football is as physical as the tackle football. So, Malik Neighbors was a monster in these 7-on. I mean, a monster. Not easy catches. Very difficult 50-50 types of catches. And he's gritty. He's quiet, not very emotional, but he's got a bite to him. He's got an attitude, and I like that. I really do. So, Brandon, welcome, man. Welcome to the chat. Where are you from, Brandon? Actually, let's do this real quick before we get back into recruiting. Where are Where's everyone from? I know Cliff's in Houston. Ulysses is in Denver. Shout out to Eric, Air Force Base. Shout out to our military that's watching. Kevin, I agree with you. I will fight tooth and nail to make this happen. 7-on-7 off-season college football. It makes too much sense. Okay? And everyone always says this to me. There's a risk of injury. There's always a risk. There's always a risk. Brandon from the 337, you just missed. Dude, there was about to be a fight to break out when someone said the food in Lafayette's better than New Orleans. You know what? I've had some great food in Lafayette. Kevin from NOLA, Debbie from Orange, Texas, Ola, Louisiana. I don't know where that is. Jamestown, Tennessee, Pecan Island, Georgia, Fort Benning, Shreveport, V-Law. Living in Omaha, Nebraska. Best LSU experience of my life was when LSU sent me and a few other student reporters to the College World Series, paid for our entire trip, got to stay the full 2 weeks in Omaha, and I got to eat at the Drover Steakhouse, a famous steakhouse, the Omaha steak of all steaks. The Drover is freaking incredible. Let's see. South Carolina, Orlando, arena football. I like arena football. One thing about arena football, and I took my brother to an arena football game in Atlanta a few years ago. One thing about arena football that's fun is that the clock moves. It doesn't stop. So you're not, you can play in an evening around arena football. Whereas in college football with the CBS and the commercials, it's a 5-hour game. Vegas, San Antonio by way of the 504, LaSalle Parish, Orlando, Baton Rouge, but live in Virginia, VA in the building. What's up? I used to live near Arlington. Let's see. But yeah, it's interesting when it's recruiting because we don't know. Like, you don't know which receiver is going to work itself out. A few years ago, there's no way we could have known that Terrace Marshall and Jamar Chase both would have exceeded expectations. There's no way. There's no way of knowing. A lot of it's us to moving to the college, not get life. One of the things that a lot of people struggle with is and I don't like to say they're not mentally strong enough. It's not my point. My point is some people can't separate their lives in Louisiana and actually being a college football player for LSU. You have to separate you have to separate the two. You simply do. Okay. And what I mean by that, and I had this explained to me by a former LSU football player who's from Louisiana. And let me put it this way. He wasn't a highly recruited guy, but he exceeded expectations. And he explained this to me. He said, Carter, the one thing I saw from all the players that actually worked out was that when they came to work, they came to work. They came to work for a football team that just happened to be the face of Louisiana. And I'll say this until death does me part. Some guys, it's good for them to leave the state of Louisiana and play their college careers elsewhere because they can't separate the two. They cannot separate their lives with the people they're around in Louisiana and everything else. And, we talked about this in a live stream a few live streams ago. Ryan Perlew is a perfect example of this. If he actually would have gone to Texas and got away from the celebrity he became, I think he would have won a Heisman. I think he would have killed it. And look, we don't win the championship in 2011 if we didn't have Ryan Perlew. But I was very close to people close to him. And I'm telling you, this guy would have been, and you guys know this guy would have been one of the greatest college football quarterbacks ever. He just could not get away. He could not separate the two. And if you can't separate the two, you're not going to be able to play. You're not going to be able to get over that hurdle. And it's tough. It's really tough. So sometimes it goes opposite as well. 2 or 3 not good as one. Welcome. Roger, I agree, but I disagree with that. Okay, because one of my favorite restaurants is in Ruston, Louisiana, and it's a Bovines. Man, that's probably the best steakhouse in Louisiana. I promise you, in Ruston. Shout out to my friends at Bovines. So my good friends, they open up a bar in Baton Rouge too. But if you cannot separate the two, you're going to get eaten alive because there is such a huge celebrity that comes along with being an LSU football player. But until you understand that the reason why you're hyped up is because of the team. And if you can't handle your duties with the team and you get caught up in everything else, you're not going to be good. You're just simply not going to be good. What Bama players do you think would have fared better at LSU? Good question, Kyle. One name that comes off the top of my head, I think Hootie Jones made a mistake. He was okay at Alabama. I just think he would have fit really well at LSU. And he wasn't a bad player in Alabama. He was a starter, but he didn't become great. Yeah, you see, Vincent said the same thing as I did, Hootie, at the same time. So, yeah, that's an interesting question. That's the only one I can really think of, though, because a lot of the guys from Louisiana who go to Bama, you just got to say it, they turn out to be really good. And obviously, the first name that comes out of your mind is Devonta Smith. But, even someone like Tim Williams turned out to be a really good player. But yeah, I think Hootie Jones would have fared better coming to LSU. I do. Billy's before. Man, it's fire. So fire. That's true, Cliff. So you've brought this up before. I've actually never done the research on this. If Ryan Perrilloux goes to Texas, Colt McCoy was coming to LSU. I've never actually read this. That is so interesting. So V-Law Bovines is new. It used to be Rabs. That's what the big place. So they turned it into a college bar called the Revelry, and it's connected to Bovines. It's excellent. It is by far my favorite place to eat. Now, you're going to spend some coin, but they are elite. And they're probably my number one Louisiana restaurant. And I'm dead serious. They're that good. Yeah, so Rabs turned into Russ. But anyway, so Hootie's one of those guys. But really, so many of the guys from Louisiana that go to Bama, they turn out to be good players. But a lot of guys from, out of state come to LSU and they turn out to be good players. So, once again, it comes down to, I'm telling you, it comes down to your personal fortitude. And so many times people say, well, I saw their high school tape and I knew that they were going to be great. Well, the bottom line is the high school tape does not tell you they're going to be great because you're not going up against guys that are on your level. Now, obviously, the competition you play in high school helps out. But when you play at Florida, LSU, Georgia, you're going up against guys that are just as athletic as you are. And there's very few high school tapes like Leonard Fournette's tape. It was clear that he was going to be great no matter what he decided to do. But those are only a dime a dozen, and it's tough. Yeah, so Rabs, okay. Rabs changed. There were some guys from Baton Rouge who moved to Ruston, and they bought it out, and it's interesting. And they turned it into a steakhouse and a college bar, and it's kind of connected. So it's weird. They have like a college bar, and it's like right next to a really, really nice restaurant. Tony, don't leave yet. I'm kidding, Tony. Hang out with your family. But anyway, guys, for 8.5, we're an hour and a half into this. Let's see. All right, what are we eating tonight? Oh, okay. Bayou, I saw what you sent me. You sent me some steaks. Let's, all right. Let's see. College memories. Oh, man. Acme and Mike Anderson. Is Acme and Mike Anderson better than Phil's? So Phil's Oyster House. I didn't even know about Phil's. Cliff was the one that told me to go to Phil's. Their buffalo sauce oysters. Ooh, they put a little blue cheese on it. Ooh, fire. That's absolutely fire. Last time I was at Phil's, I saw Jamarcus Russell there, and I thought it was really cool. I was a big J. Russ fan. I just wish he didn't waste it, man. I wish he didn't waste it all. You know what, DC? I disagree with you on that. Okay. And here's why I disagree. Yes, the quarterback class is loaded, but, and this is key, the senior quarterback class is not that great. So this was my logic regarding Felipe Franks. I'm sure he got invited to the Senior Bowl. So the good thing is, if you go to the Senior Bowl and you're the best quarterback at the Senior Bowl in front of all those NFL scouts, that counts for something. So he's already kind of old. I don't mind him going for it. TJ Ribs. Let's see. Bug Strong. We got some Bug Strong fans in here. I hope he pans out too. You know what, Kevin? I think about that a lot too. Would Dylan Moses have been super elite at LSU? So you know what, Kevin? This is what bothers me about that is that if Dylan Moses comes to LSU, how does he fit in with Patrick Queen? And then do we get Jacob Phillips and Patrick Queen? So, I don't know. I think about Dylan Moses a lot because obviously he's going to be drafted high. He's a great player. He was on the cover of ESPN magazine at 15, and he's from Baton Rouge. I obviously would have preferred him going to LSU. The same with Patrick Surtain. But there's so many what ifs with it, and it goes further to my point about Elias Ricks and just any insert player name X. The key thing, the number one thing you should worry about as a fan, okay? It's not who leaves. It's how many who's leave, right? The problem with LSU football wasn't that Joe Burrow left. That was not the crux of LSU's issue. The problem was Joe Burrow and 30 other key members of the national championship team left. Coaches, players, 14 draft picks, undrafted free agents. All these guys left and also opted out. So the number one thing you should look for as an LSU fan is how many LSU players get drafted from the year before. And each and every year since 2003, and this is my favorite episode, partially because I did the most work on this episode, and it's episode 9, and it has like 60 views. So episode 9 on this channel, when I was still counting episodes, I did the research on this. LSU, since 2003, has averaged close to 7 players selected in the NFL draft. Each and every year they won national championships. The year before, they only lost 6 or fewer players to the NFL draft. Okay? So there is a direct correlation with national championships and how many returning starters you have. Okay? Remember, LSU, ooh, it looks good. That's a good chunk. So remember this. LSU, and I think about this a lot. Why was Alabama so great? Why was Alabama so great this year? Well, it was because of two people. It was Najee Harris and Devonta Smith. They were the two reasons why. Alex Leatherwood as well, and it was also Dylan Moses. And it was also Patrick. They had exemplary experience returning guys. Why did the 2007 LSU team win the national championship? Well, Jacob Hester, Matt Flynn, and those guys hard sold Glenn Dorsey to come back. Well, everyone on the team was saying, hey, let's come back. Let's do it. Guys like Kirsten Pittman, those guys. Getting exemplary returning starters is the reason why teams win national championships. Getting guys like Glenn Dorsey who would, and here's the thing, and we don't talk about this enough regarding Glenn Dorsey. And earlier we were talking about Tad Lavallee and Kyle Williams. One thing we do not talk enough about is Glenn Dorsey sacrificed his NFL career to come back for another year. Because I was in the stadium when Glenn Dorsey was chop blocked at the knee by the Auburn offensive guard, and that ended his NFL career. Now, he went on to have a good NFL career, but he was not the same Glenn Dorsey after that injury. Now, the scary thing is that Glenn Dorsey is still better than 95 billion defensive tackles that have ever played college football. So, Glenn Dorsey sacrificed so much for that team to win the national championship, and he just wasn't the same player in the NFL. And I really do believe it's because of the knee injury. I mean, I really do. Now, he would never admit that because that's not his personality. He's a champion. He doesn't want to make excuses, but I'll make the excuse for him. And he didn't have to come back. He lost a lot. And, I think his number should be retired. I think that's long overdue. I think he deserves it. I know Tyler Shelvin wore the number 72. It just didn't sit right with me. I don't think anyone should ever wear that jersey again. So, that's the ultimate Tiger. Oh, Esteban, that's a good question. If you could bring back one former player for this season, who would it be? Well, yeah, I've said it plenty of times. I mean, Patrick Peterson is, to me, the greatest LSU player of this championship era. And I have a lot of reasons why that's the case. But, yeah, I think he is the best player since 2003. Now, obviously, the obvious answer to that question is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had the greatest season in LSU history, okay? I don't think anyone would deny that. And Tyrann Mathieu 2011 is probably the second best season we've ever seen from an LSU Tiger. And then the third best, there's so many different people. And Leonard Fournette in 2015 had a great season. What's up, Cody? About time I saw you. Let's see. Cliff, let's see what you... So, Esteban, answer your question. Obviously, Patrick Peterson is just too obvious of an answer. So, if I was to bring back one player, okay, so LSU has a huge hole where? Oh, okay. Let me give you this one. I would bring back Lyle Collins, right? We need a dominant guard. So I'll bring back Lyle Collins. Is that a good enough answer? It's not, you guys know I don't like to give you the obvious answer. So obviously everyone's going to say, well, I would love Joe Burrow back. Yeah, he's the best player to ever put on the uniform. But yes, if you factor in the whole body of work, Patrick Peterson, best LSU player of the championship era. I really do believe that. So if you want me to rank the best LSU players of the championship era, and I think about this a lot, I might write a book on it. If I wrote a book on it, would you read it? If I were to rank my best LSU players since 2003, you got to factor in the full body of work, right? I think number one is Patrick Peterson, and I think number two is probably Devin White. Now, I think that would be how I would rank it. And then after that, you got to factor in. Remember, when you talk greatest of all time, in any capacity, you got to factor in the full body of work. Andrew Whitworth is a very interesting name. Actually, he would be a very good Tiger to bring back because it would be nice to have a starting tackle. Billy Cannon, that's a good one. RIP to the GOAT, the OG Heisman winner. Let's see. Jamal Adams was great. Yeah, he's up there too. Let's see. Allie Highsmith's a good one. You know what, Blake? Yeah. Okay. So I hated that Terrace Marshall. I really did. Okay. Terrace Marshall was the most drama-free LSU Tiger you can think of. He was a quiet guy, very religious guy, kept to himself, never made it about himself. Then he did the players only thing, and he said, "Look, I don't have to be here, but I'm playing for our guys." And he left a week later. Would he like to have that back? Yes, he would love to have that back. And that should not be his lasting legacy. And he probably regrets it, right? It looks stupid. But if I could defend him, this season was a dumpster fire. And all he was trying to do was rev up the team in the players only meeting. And I'm happy as heck he did it, right? Someone needed to speak up. That's not Terrace. He's not a vocal guy. I think he just got caught up in the moment and said that. And then, it makes it look like he's a hypocrite. So be it. He did far more good than bad. People forget he had a horrible injury his senior year. And then his sophomore year, midway through, had a horrible injury and came back and, played amazing. He was better after the injury than before the injury. So, I hate that. I hate that I hate that I'm glad you brought it up because it deserves discussing. Vernon, I shouted you out earlier. I was hoping you were in here. I don't, and I want to ask Vernon this. I don't understand Auburn's hires. And I know you've done videos on this. Thank you, Vernon, for the super chat. I don't get Mike Bobo, and I don't get Derek Mason. I'm not a huge fan of either of the hires. And Vernon, what is the name of the linebackers coach that Auburn let go this week? That dude was a beast. I know it's something Williams or something like that. Dude, Auburn's linebackers are freaking good every year. It was DC, but it was in that Texas A&M game. You know what's funny? Terrace was incredible in that A&M game. Travis Williams, okay. I'm just not on fire about these Brian Harsin hires. I'm not on fire. I kind of understand the Derek Mason thing. The Mike Bobo thing just did not make any sense to me. I don't know. Brady James was a monster. I'd be a great player to bring back. So a lot of people say that, V-Law, but the Mike Bobo thing just did not make any sense to me. Vernon says we are casually optimistic. I just thought Gus was a great coach. I really did. There's nothing you could do about what Nick Saban's doing at Alabama, except Gus has beaten this dude a few times. But what do I know about football? I am a Gus fan. I am. I think Gus gets a bad rap. Remember, Auburn's schedule every single year is the hardest schedule in college football. And the reason why I bring that up is non-conference games are random, all right? But Auburn every year has to play an SEC West schedule and Georgia from the SEC East every single year. So when you read that Gus Malzahn's record in the SEC was 33-31, that's pretty freaking good. LSU recruits better than you. Georgia recruits better than you. Alabama recruits better than you. And Texas A&M recruits on your level. So you play 8 SEC games every year. That's 4 teams you have to play every year that has better talent than your team. Guess what? Do the math. Your record is going to be at 500. Gus Malzahn was a really good coach. And I will go to the grave saying that. So, Brennan, and here's the thing. I know Auburn is a very booster-centric program. And I've shared this before. Alan Green, the athletic director, I was lucky to sit next to him in a press box, and he was the most impressive human being I've ever met in athletics. I really do mean that. And I emailed him. I used to email him when he was the athletic director at Buffalo. And I've just never met someone that was for sure going to succeed in athletics. And at the time, he was at Ole Miss as a fundraiser. And Alan Green was a baseball player at Notre Dame under Paul Meunier, the LSU baseball coach. So, you know, he was just so freaking sharp. Now, did I think that he was going to be an SEC athletic director? You know, it's hard to predict that because those jobs are so hard to get. But, I want Allen's hires to be out of the park hires. But still, I hope Alan Green succeeds. I really do. That's the one I like a lot. Maybe the LSU. Hey! 2 or 3, not good as 1. Thank you for your super chat. Joe Burrow is the Garth Brooks, just like Felipe Franks is a Kenny Chesney. I do agree with that. That is the first time you've done a super chat with country music references, and they were actually accurate. That is an actually accurate description. Good night, Debbie. Yeah, Booger's all snuggled. Ooh, V-Law, that's a stat. Gus has more wins over Saban than we do in 2011. And look, Michigan just extended a guy who never comes close to beating Ohio State outside of that horrible JT Barrett spot. Happy poop day for Carter. Happy birthday. Yours was Tuesday, George. Welcome to the channel, George. Shrek's Shrek. You know what's funny about Shrek? I got to go to DreamWorks Studio in LA. One of my friends, Katie, she used to work at DreamWorks, and she took me to where they made Shrek. It was really cool. Shout out to Kevin. I don't have his number. Plus, there'd be like reverb and all of that, and it's an hour 54 in. Vernon's a beast, though. Go check out his stuff. He does some really good Auburn stuff. But I say this all the time. Gus is different. He may not be great, but he's different. And sometimes you have to be different when you're in a league with Alabama, LSU, and now Texas A&M. And as Vernon brings up, Gus did blow huge opportunities. But a $21 million buyout in the middle of a pandemic, when you're losing revenue. The only thing Gus did that was just so stupid, and I've never understood this, and Gus is a sharp guy. Why would you hire Chad Morris when he was fresh off the worst coaching I've ever seen at the Division I Power 5 level? Gus beat Saban more times than anyone else. Yeah. And that's the thing, man. He's just good. I just think Gus is just good. Gus brought in the Wildcat with Felix Jones and Darren McFadden. That was Gus Malzahn. He's just sharp. He's sharp as a tack. It's up there, V-Long, because you have some expectations that you have to deal with. And you're in the SEC West. And here's the thing. Whether or not, and so many of you are going to just destroy me for this, but Texas A&M's got something brewing over there. Well, they're losing Kellen Mond. So they're probably going to be better. How great was Kellen Mond as an SEC quarterback? I don't understand this. And this was a big problem for me when I was going back and judging the Texas era under, the former Texas coach name, who was going to take the Tom Herman. So Tom Herman only coached one quarterback. One quarterback. Sam Ehlinger. I don't know. I just think it's hard to judge someone like Tom Herman, who had Sam Ehlinger, who was a good but not great quarterback. The same thing is true for the same exact thing is true for Kellen Mond. Jimbo Fisher really has only had one quarterback. So it's the bottom line. A&M's got a great thing rolling. And if you don't agree with that, go look at where they're recruiting the best on the lines. Okay? What's LSU's weakness right now? Recruiting on the lines, right? Go look at A&M's recruiting class. And they recruited some players that look really good. They got Bryce Foster, they got Shamar Turner, and obviously those guys won't be instant impact guys, but down the road they're going to be beast. I mean, that was a really good group. Mond plays tight end in the NFL. I agree. They're probably going to be better off without him. I agree, Blake. And part of it is A&M's best wide receiver, Jamon Osborne, opted out. I know he regrets that now. But their skill position guys outside of Werdermeyer, they weren't that good. They weren't that good. Jimbo, I'm telling you. Austin, about time I saw you. What's up, dude? Yeah, that's it. Austin, that's an interesting comment. Would Coach O have moved off of Danny Etling? You know what? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that because Danny Etling did something Coach O liked a lot. Danny Etling did not turn the football over. Remember, I believe this was 2016. LSU set the college football record for the fewest turnovers. The reason why the game was over is because Drew Brees turned the football over a lot. But Danny Etling never risked anything. LSU was a very conservative play calling team. Okay, Gus blew it with the LSU in 17, 18 Georgia in the 17 SEC championship. Okay, UCF, that was a bad loss. LSU 19, what was the 2019? What could he have done differently in that game? I'm interested. He was starting a true freshman quarterback. South Carolina in 20, yeah, that was bad. I would too, Ulysses, I would. But Tennessee's got pockets. So if you have pockets, coaches are still going to come. Well, all right, guys, we just hit the 2-hour mark. I don't mind hanging out. It helps if the super chats keep flowing, if the Venmos, Cash Apps keep coming. If not, we'll wrap this up here in about 5 or 10 minutes. I got McDonald's bags, not pockets. I got them Happy Meals. Yeah, right. I like that pun there, Antonio. I like that. So yeah, let me know. I don't mind hanging out for a bit. My girlfriend's about to blow something up in this microwave. As Ulysses points out, when the microphone slows down the Wi-Fi. All right, let's see. Let's see. Kennard V. Stewart. That's a great name. I'll shoot you an email. There you go, Mikey. I appreciate you. That's Mickey Joseph's burner account, guys. In case you wanted to know. We'll hang out a little bit more because of Mikey. Thank you, Mikey, for stepping up. Appreciate you, big dog. How about Robert dropping another 50 burger? Next live stream, Tanner. Yeah, we'll see you Tuesday night, man. Yeah, I'm a Lowell Narcisse truther as well, Cliff. I think he would have been special. I hate that he got injured this year. Cody, thank you. Okay, we're definitely going to hang out now. We got a $20. I like that. So, Cody, what would you like to talk about? I don't mind hanging out for a little bit further. You know what's inspiring? Everyone thinks Coach O can't coach and he can't talk right, yet that's true, DC. He certainly did that. Now, to the critics' point, there are a lot of O's. There are a lot of problems that Ed Orgeron has to answer. Some on the field, some off the field. So we'll see what happens. But I am a Coach O guy because he is our coach. And I just love him. Louisiana through and through. He's my guy. I know I could be critical of him, but he's the coach of our favorite football team. So I'm going to roll with him. There could be worse options. That's for sure. So we'll see. You know, what's interesting is against Ole Miss, LSU was very analytically aggressive. Vincent, I appreciate you. So we're definitely going to hang out for a little bit. What do you mean by the dead period? I don't know. I'm not as well versed in recruiting. Is there a dead period right now? I don't know. Need to buy some fried shrimp po' boys. Vincent, what would you like to talk about? Cody, what would you like to talk about? Okay, so we're going to go to Cody here. DC search has installed. Need to buy fried chicken. So I don't. Okay, it's still April. Okay, so I don't think I don't. Then if there's a dead period, how come players are visiting campus? I don't get it. But to answer Cody's question here, the DC search has it stalled. I don't think it's stalled. The Atlanta Journal-Constitutional obviously reported that Glenn Schuman's been contacted by LSU. I'm a little skeptical about that, yet also a little bit optimistic about that because I am happy Glenn Schuman, but as some of you noted, none of the LSU reporters are reporting that. That hasn't been leaked yet. So maybe it's Glenn Schuman's agent trying to get a raise. We don't know. So, Cody, I don't think it's stalled. Just because you're not hearing about something could partially be them not leaking information. But it could also be the case that LSU is scrambling a little bit now. So we'll see. It's one of those things. You strike out on Marcus Freeman. That's one thing. But Ed Orgeron always knew Ryan Nielsen was right there. And I'm sure that he and Ryan Nielsen, who they both speak a lot to each other, I'm sure he and Ryan Nielsen both said, hey, if everything lines up, will you be our guy? So I think LSU really does have to take a step back here. So I could it be stalled? Absolutely, it could. I would say it's more a stall meter. I think it's more stalled now than it was after Freeman, because if they thought Freeman was a slam dunk, but Ryan Nielsen was a slam dunk until, of course, what happened earlier this week. Vincent, that's a good but also very tough question. So Vernon's in here right now. He mentioned the name of the Auburn linebackers coach was just fired. I would immediately call him. Let me see, Vernon. What's his name? Let me see. Something Williams. I'm going to pull it up here. What's up, Dustin? Udaman Carter, have you heard any more of Eli leaving? I haven't heard anything. And that was the funny thing about my initial video, was me saying it was just a rumor. Have I heard anything else? No. But could he still go? Absolutely, he could still go. Remember, this is a guy who could play anywhere and be exceptional anywhere he wants to go. So I wouldn't be blown away if he decided to leave. But obviously, he's a guy that you desperately want back because, well, he's the best corner in college football. Alex, dude, I missed you, man. I always miss when my phone buzzes when Alex comes on in here. What's up, Alex? How you doing, man? What would you like to talk about? So, Dustin, to answer your question, I'm not too worried about that. He's been coaching forever and doesn't know anybody. So, Vincent, I would name the Auburn linebackers coach because he is a monster recruiter. So that's the thing, Austin. I agree with you. And I failed to mention that in my initial video, that his family did move to Baton Rouge. But Eli Ricks is also a very transient player. He's gone from place to place. He's gone to 3 different parts of the country already in the last 3 years. Dustin, I appreciate you, man. So Cliff sent me a link about the dead period. Let's see. Let me pull this up really quickly. The football dead period, when coaches cannot meet face-to-face with recruits, was originally extended in March when the NCAA tournament and spring sports were canceled. The next extension when coaches will not meet. God, that's crazy. So they can't. Can Orgeron not meet with recruits now? That's wild. That is so wild. So, yeah, maybe someone that knows more about recruiting, maybe Shay or somebody watching could let me know. I just don't know a whole lot about dead period and meeting with the play. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's so stupid. I just think coaches should be able to meet with players whenever they want. I just think it's stupid. Until you're signed somewhere, I think you should be freely able to meet with anyone you want. I do. I really do. All right, guys. We still got Cody's super chat up. I'm ready to hang out for a little bit. Tennis junkie. You see, I agree with you. This is interesting. Someone just sent this to me. So that's actually a good deal. So someone just put this very expensive card lot on Twitter. So like a lot of like 20 Steph Curry and LeBron James rookie cards. And he said, someone bring me $105,000 for these cards right now. I will cover your airfare to California to come pick these up. And there are people, there's someone who just did it. So someone's about to hop on a plane with $100,000 to go buy these cards. And honestly, these cards in this lot, we have a Tom Brady rookie here. And I know this is nerd talk for a lot of you, but I'm a sports card nerd. God, this is actually, well, if I had $100,000, I'd actually go out there and buy them. He's got a Michael Jordan Fleer rookie. Those go for about $20,000 for a BGS 9. 2 LeBron rookies, 5 Steph rookie autos. Hell yeah, this is a good deal. $100,000. That's freaking nuts. And it's actually a good lot. It's video. Kevin, what game are you playing? I don't game. I'm just interested. Let's see. That's a good question, Austin. Who do you think should start on the D-line next year? I want BJ, Roy, Smith, and Gay. I don't think it's ever good for a true freshman to just start. Slowly work Mason Smith on in and then go from there. Destiny 2 tonight. Interesting. I have no idea what that is. I'm worried all the seniors coming back will create a bottleneck issue for young talent. I could see that, Austin. Glenn Logan, Neil Farrell coming back. Yeah. But still, so many of you love Mason Smith, and he is a real deal. But let him work his way in. Yeah, I don't know if Vernon's still in here, but Derek Brown didn't start day one. So, just let it be. Let it be. Ulysses tops basketball or baseball? If it's basketball, hit me up. I might buy it off you. I am a Kobe collector. I'm not, and honestly, I was a big Kobe fan. I did like Vince Carter and Allen Iverson better. My favorite NBA players from that era. I definitely liked Allen Iverson better than Kobe. Definitely like Shaq over Kobe. But I was also a Kobe fan, partially because his last name was Bryant. That's my last name. So, man, are you both? So if you have the 96 Kobe card, let me know. You like XXX Tentacion? Kevin, have a good night playing video games. More baseball than basketball. Cody, we'll see you, man. Nick, you're late. I'm about to sign off, but if you drop a super chat, I don't mind hanging out. I'm a huge Allen Iverson fan. I'm sorry, I'm just huge. And there's more to it than just what he did on the court. he changed a lot of the NBA. And you know, he was different. It was a different kind of vibe. When it's kind of hard to describe it because he was this undersized guy. He was 6 foot, 5'11". So, I just loved watching him. I just did. I just love, I'm a small guy. What about all these Tennessee decommits? Can LSU nab one of these guys? I'm down. Big Cat Bryant's wondering, hey, what happened? Didn't y'all see that? So Big Cat deleted all his his Twitter postings and stuff like that. Exactly, Kyle. There was a whole different vibe with Allen Iverson. I just freaking love it, man. I freaking love that dude. It's kind of weird though because you think of the iconic NBA final moments, and AI has one of them, the step over Tyronn Lue. Cody, say what? Just jumped off and seen an LSU football tweet that said they contacted Schuman. Yeah. Let's hope it actually follows through. Nick wants to talk some Garrett Nussmeier. Yeah, man. I love Garrett Nussmeier. I just love what he's about. Recruiting kids to come play at LSU. That's really cool stuff right there. It is. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Okay. Max, about time. Goodness gracious. I was just getting ready to sign up, but Max drops a $5 super chat, so we're hanging out. Max, your card shipped out today, so be ready. Your Daniil Hunter card is in transit. And I also put in a few other goodies for you, Max. I appreciate all your support of the channel. And as I said to start the live stream, my birthday is actually tomorrow. But Hey and Boog have a full day planned out for me tomorrow. And as you guys know, I do what Hey and Boog tells me to do. If I get to hang out with you guys tonight. She said, look, your birthday better be open. And I was like, all right, let's do this thing. Let's go. Let's go. Mari, you want to keep it going? Hey, you got, during the season, we would do these 4-hour super chats. Birthday, you got to go BIRF. I like that. Nuts. All right. Well, I guess we'll hang out until the end of Max, your chats have to run out. So, yeah, you know what? I like Garrett Nussmeier. I don't think that this is a year one kind of thing, but I'm like that freshman quarterback. Quarterback's just so different than every other position. I just don't think it's good to just start as a true freshman. I just don't think so. I think it's better to just sit back and just learn the position. So there you go.
Did you stop it?
Well, no. I put it in the microwave.
4 minutes?
Yeah, I normally stop at about 3:30.
She was knocked out. Her gas.
Oh, her gas was bad? Well, with the new dog food, no. Bug. Yeah, nasty gas? Huh.
Don't talk too loud. She's really tired.
Yeah, good luck to him, Mario, for real. His new venture. And what's out of Bug? She wanted to say night-night. Debbie
Look
already
at that
left.
Face.
Here.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I know y'all are hungry. Well, you're not, because you've been eating all night.
Hey, Eric. Here's Booger.
Okay, let's go with Max. Thanks for that, Carter. What good with the DC job right now? If Coach O doesn't want to knock this out of the park, he's got it. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. And you know what? Orgeron also dodged a bullet here. So
I'm gonna switch her around this way. Oh, I know it, baby.
you know what's kind of funny in this kind of I sometimes I just sit and I think, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Orgeron not getting Ryan Nielsen is actually the best thing for him too, right? Because it gives him some protection. If LSU's next defensive coordinator hire is not a good one, Ed Orgeron, and let's say that person isn't good in his first year, Ed Orgeron could say, look, it was out of my control. The Saints, it was, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Birthday shoes.
You trying to get some birthday sugar? You know she don't give sugar this late.
If she does to her mama.
So you understand what I'm saying? So Ed Orgeron, his team could struggle next year, and he'd be like, look, I didn't get the defensive coordinator that I wanted, and our candidate pool was so limited at the end. But if Ryan Nielsen came out and just didn't know what he was doing, that's all on Ed Orgeron. So, in a way that did I buy a Mega Million ticket?
I did.
You
bought
did?
The 3 stack. Sure did.
Did we win it?
We win that Mega Millions.
Did you win?
Hell, I don't know.
That makes no sense. He just as easily could have gone after someone who could have been.
My bad.
Yeah. Well, also that's just me thinking out loud. 2.5 hours into this, but no, my comment does kind of make sense because look, if Ryan Nielsen stunk last year, it would have been all on Ed Orgeron. It's $1 billion.
Sure enough, gonna get that check. Don't even worry about it. We going on a private jet somewhere with Booger.
As long as we're top 5 in the SEC in defense first year and don't. Yeah, I agree with you, Max. I mean, we got to do better than 9-3. What are you doing?
No, look at her face in the camera.
She's looking at me like
she's so lethargic, baby, because she ate.
She ate so much.
She didn't eat that much. She just ate.
Her new food did get stuck to the roof of her mouth.
You did. Please don't pick at her. She
That's
doesn't like it.
some dirt right there.
It's not dirt.
Got it. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Haley sounds like she's from Tennessee or Texas.
Why does everyone think that?
Because you lived in Tennessee. That's crazy, Jawan.
Both places.
He lived in both. She lived in both.
For 8 years and Dallas for 8 years.
She lived in Nashville for nearly a decade and Dallas for a few years as well.
Nearly a decade.
Or Byron, Georgia. I think I would like
Eric.
I would like a top 1 to 4 defense. But do you think if we got an average defense next year and an offense averages 4? Yeah, I think so too. I think that, Austin. All right, Mario, we'll see you. But yeah, to finish out of here.
Where's she from?
Arkansas.
Baby, I am from Arkansas. I am from South Arkansas.
South Arkansas.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I think so, Austin. I think if the offense does average that many points, obviously that comes down to Peetz and Mangus and whoever the quarterback's going to be. It does help having Kayshawn back, so we'll see what happens there.
What's his name? I can't read it, even with my glasses.
Jawan.
All
right, guys. Well, we will talk to you soon. All right, guys. Once again, thank you so much for making this birthday live chat great.
Hey, Uncle Cliff.
Our champion super chatter tonight goes to Robert. This is the second consecutive win for Robert, getting us a good $50 super chat for Booger's new food. And I appreciate Robert. And Robert had already won last week a Rashard Lawrence autograph card. So
nice.
Obviously, when we get ready for 4,000 subscribers, Boog and I, along with Hey, we're going to send.
Yes, 870 shout out. Come through.
Roger, what's up, man? How'd you know where?
Come through.
Okay, but here's the thing. When we hit the 4,000 subscribers, we're giving out that autographed Thaddeus Moss 2020 Prism card, and it's pink, and it shines, and it's glorious. So let's get the 4,000 subscribers. The sooner, the better.
For birthday.
It's power. Our
LSU. That was
Boom. Night, everybody. Night. Spaghetti bake time. Let's go. It's not over yet. We got to click this.
I'm not saying anything.
I get this.